Well, hello and welcome to a new video. Today I did a full face of Sephora makeup and I'm going to talk to you about the products I used and what I think about them. Let's go. Just a little heads up, this video might be outdated because I think I mentioned this before. Sephora has a tendency of releasing new products quite regularly, and when they do, they kind of get rid of the older products. They put it on sale first, and now apparently it's available at a drugstore here in Belgium, and they actually sell in that drugstore older collections from Sephora that were just like 1 year ago half off or 70% off at Sephora, which I must say I find a little bit shady, but let's just move along. So I believe a bunch of the products I used today are not available anymore. I still wanted to do this video, a full face of Sephora makeup, because I mean, I do have this makeup and who knows, maybe you can still find some of it on sale or for the full price if it's still part of their collection. I know some of the products I believe are still available. So let's just dive into everything I put on my face. Starting with primers, I used a combination of two primers. Actually, I first used this hydrating primer, which I really like. It is hydrating and it's blue, which is weird, but it has this minty smell. I really do like it. I then used a little bit of this one. This is a Pore and Fine Line Filler Primer. It's the same kind of consistency as the Professional from Benefit. It's a little less thick, so it's not gonna do as good of a job as the Benefit one, to be honest with you. If you're hesitating between the two, I would advise you to just get the Benefit in a smaller size because you're not supposed to put this all over your face anyway. It's really just for the parts of your face where you have larger pores, so you don't really need a big tube like that. I mean, I still like it. It's just, it's not as efficient as other pore filling primers I have. For a foundation, I used this one. I believe it's still available. It should be because they released it last year. It was last summer. Although just another little heads up, I believe that there might be some differences between the lines from the Sephora brand carried in the US and in France. So this is all French Sephora makeup. So this is the Care Natural Glow Plus 10-Hour Hydration Foundation. They had started, so last summer, a line of more natural makeup. So this was one of the first launches within that line, which is why I would guess it still exists, but I'm not sure. This is the shade 26N. It's a shade that it's too dark for me during winter months, but it's the kind of texture and coverage for a foundation that I would use more within the summer anyway. It's definitely natural. I mean, it didn't necessarily cover this nice pimple here. Yeah, it's more on the natural side. I don't find it particularly hydrating, but it's also not gonna dry your skin out. I mean, yeah, it's not gonna be my favorite foundation, but it's okay. I then used this palette, which I showed you last week when I did that video about my palettes that I never used. And this is definitely a palette that I never ever reach for. There's just nothing in it that really speaks to me. So today I did try to use a bunch of these. So I used this corrector here, really just right there where my dark circles have more of a purple undertone. The color of this, because it's a bit pinky, really works well for me as an under eye corrector. This is not a step I ever really do because I don't think my dark circles are too bad and too colored, if that makes sense. But still, I did try it today. It's fine. I mean, it did work well with the concealer I then used. It's just an extra step that I'm not necessarily willing to take all of the time. I used this high coverage concealer with a natural finish. I don't know if that still exists. I know they did release a new concealer, but I don't know if that new concealer replaced this one or simply added itself. This one was fine. Honestly, it was really fine. It's a little too light for me at the moment, so I used the tiniest amount, but it was fine. Yeah, it was not the most crazy high coverage, but it does cover what it needs to cover, and it's not drying, it's not moving too much. It's a good concealer. I then powdered the concealer a little bit with this shade, but I mean, it was just too light, and so I went in with this powder. This is the Beauty Amplifier Smoothing and Brightening Powder. So I put it under my eyes and then all over my face with a bigger, fluffier brush. I love this powder. I used to recommend it all of the time to my clients at Sephora. It's just so smooth and soft. And actually, when you apply it to your skin, you do feel like it's smoother. It's really, really nice. It's going to have an invisible finish, but it's just so soft to the skin. It really, really is an amazing powder. I hope they still have it because it's a very good product. I don't think you're using it enough, honestly, because it is great. I then went back into this palette. I tried to contour just a tiny, tiny little bit. I just don't really like contouring anymore. I feel like it's something that only looks good on camera. I must say though, as much as I'm not really a fan of contouring anymore, this is a nice shade. This is a nice shade and it's easy to blend, because sometimes when you go in with a contour shade and then it doesn't blend and you have a weird gray line, this blended nicely, I must admit. But lately I just prefer to bronze up the face, and for this I used this bronzing powder. This is the shade Light Caledonia. Same thing, I'm not sure it still exists. It should, because it is really good. It doesn't really smell that much anymore. It used to smell like summer. It's lost a little bit of its scent. It's a really good bronzer. It looks like it's light. It is light. You can definitely use a tiny amount of it and just be bronzed, you know, slightly. I went at ham because I'm, you know, still very much tan at the moment, and I needed to like bring back a little bit of that sun on my face. And so I really, really used quite a lot of product, and it built up nicely. And yeah, I love the tone. It's not too orange, but it's warm enough. It's a really, 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 really nice bronzer. I hope they still make it, because again, for the price, you cannot go wrong. I then used this blush. This shade looks a little bit crazy, so I went in with a very light hand. The one thing I don't like about this blush is that I cannot open it. There you go. So like I was saying, this is a very, very vibrant color, but it blends it nicely. It's not looking as crazy when you apply it to your cheek. It just gives you that little flush, really, of color. I mean, depending on how you apply it and what brush you're using. But I mean, yeah, you can see I have a little bit of blush going on, but you wouldn't guess that it's that pink in the pan. They were known for their blushes at one point. I do remember there was a French YouTuber that was always raving about these blushes, and they are nice. I don't know if this one in particular still exists. This is the shade 33, I'm in Love. I think I've seen going around, they have new blushes with some kind of a marble effect, I believe. I don't know what they look like and how they apply. This one, which is matte, was very good. For the brows, I used the Retractable Brow Pencil Waterproof in the shade 8 Chocolate Brown, which, you know, might not be the perfect shade for me. I am so bad at picking my right shade for brows. This is awful. So it's a retractable brow pencil. There's nothing more to say. I find it a little bit too greasy for my taste. I didn't set it because I don't have a gel. I know it's gonna move because, like I said, it's just too emollient to really stay in place. I don't like it when it's too dry, but this is just, I feel like you could go wrong very easily with this one. And also the spoolie on the other side, like, what is this? What am I supposed to do with this? Like, stop myself? I believe they have changed these. I think so. Like I said, they, you know, renew their collections quite regularly. I wouldn't necessarily go for this one. I believe they have a bunch of different brow products that might be better than this. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not the texture I prefer. I primed my lids with this Universal Cooling Eye Primer. I'm convinced it doesn't exist anymore because I got it on sale. It was like 70% off or something like that, which typically means it was part of an older collection that just doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it's an eyeshadow base. It makes me think in the texture and in the finish of the Urban Decay Primer Potion. It's slightly wet, but if you set it with an eyeshadow, which is what I did, it's completely fine. For the eyeshadow palette, I used this one. This is the Vivid Earth. This, I know they don't sell at Sephora anymore. It might make a comeback during the sales. If they still have a lot of stock, they might put this on sale. I have seen this, but it was a while ago, but I have seen this in that drugstore I was telling you about in Belgium for 20 bucks, which is the price I bought this like 2 years ago. And yeah, I don't feel right about this. But again, let's just move along. This is what the palette looks like. I cannot say it's my favorite color story, nor my favorite formula. The mattes are a little dry. Now the good thing about it is that you're not gonna get a ton of fallout, but I don't know if you can tell, but some of them have a bit of a heart pan on them. They're pigmented, it's fine. They're not gonna be like crazy pigmented, but that might be just as well for some of you. They're not the easiest to blend, but they're also not the most like chalky and weird. It's fine. Honestly, it's not a palette I reach for a ton. It's not terrible. I mean, it has a nice range of colors because you have a bunch of like neutrals here to do a very simple everyday look, and then you have a few pops of colors here and there. There's only 3 shimmers, and yeah, they're not the most wow shimmer metallic shades that you will find. I know that they had single shadows, and some of them were incredible. I believe that you're better off having, you know, a small everyday palette, you know, with very neutral shades, whatever, and then buying just a couple of their eyeshadow singles, one of their like super metallic finishes. Those were, oh my god, amazing. I love just putting my fingers into them. They were so smooth and applied nicely and so metallic and vibrant. I used a liner to line my waterline. This is the Glide Liner Waterproof. It's a retractable one. Same thing. I don't think this one in particular still exists. They always have different kinds of eyeliner pencils. Ones that you can sharpen, ones that are retractable, ones that are waterproof or not, creamy, less creamy. Like, they always have a nice selection. So depending on what your style and your preferences, you will definitely find a black liner at Sephora that works for you. They're affordable, they work, That's all you need to know. For liner, I tried using this one, but it's dry. I need to throw this out. So then I used this one. This is the Black Ink Classic Line Felt Liner. I also have a couple of colored liners from them, a silver one and a forest green, which I love so much. Same thing goes for the liquid liner as for the more like pencil eyeliners. They always have a selection of different types of brushes, of finishes and stuff. So again, you will find what you need. I do like it. I do find it easy to use. It's not going to be the most intense black. It's not going to be the most long wearing, but I mean, again, for the price, you can't really beat it, and you will find an eyeliner that works for you. And on top of that, they usually also have a bunch of different colors, which I find it harder to find in other brands. So definitely check these out. I then used a little bit of this pencil, which I have used recently, I believe. And I do use it quite on the regular. This is the Colorful Contour Eye Pencil 12-Hour Wear in the shade Blonde Ambition. Again, don't know if they still make it, but again, they always have a bunch of different colors when it comes to eye pencils, which you can find colorful or shimmery eye pencils like these in other brands, but this is typically not something that I'm gonna use every day. So I feel like if you want to have a bunch of different colors of eye pencils, you might as well just buy 5 different colors of Sephora pencils than buy 2 Marc Jacobs. You know what I mean? Again, I feel like for the price, this is a good product. For mascara, I used this one. This is the Size Up Immediate Supersized Volume. This one is the second one that I opened. I actually got it as a gift when I was working at Sephora. I had bought the first one on my own and I loved it so much. This is a little dry now, but it's just as well because in the beginning, I think it's too wet. It's too wet, and there's something about how the product is dispensed on the brush where you just have way too much. And so when I was working at Sephora and I was recommending this mascara because that's the one I was wearing every day and I loved it so much, I was always advising the clients to really like take off some of the excess product, otherwise you're gonna have mascara all over your face. Other than that, this is a great mascara. It gives me amazing lashes. It does not budge. It's just really great. I'm definitely going to buy another one of this. I believe it still exists. It had been released a little bit before I started working at Sephora, and so for the first couple of weeks of me working there, we had to wear yellow shirts. I still have it. I should have worn it. But yeah, this is a great mascara. For the lips, I do have a bunch of products. I picked 2. I don't have a lip pencil from Sephora, which is a shame because they're good. And again, they're not expensive. Today, I decided to go for this Lip Stories. This is the shade number 2, Landing in Shanghai. As usual, I'm not sure they still have it. They were a great formula. I like the fact that it's a bullet lipstick that's satin, but it's not also moving too much. It's just, yeah, it's a really nice formula. Their lip creams, lip stains are amazing. Honestly, I have a couple of them. I was wearing them to work. They were not moving the entire day. It's a liquid lipstick, so it's gonna be drying, but honestly, when you compare it to some much more expensive liquid lipsticks, they were not the most drying at all. They were still quite comfortable for a liquid lipstick, of course. So definitely check those out. They are worth it. And also these glosses, the glossed. I have another shade as well with glitters. They are so comfortable, so nice. They're super pigmented. You have quite a large variety of different colors and finishes. You have with glitters, you have more metallics. This one is the shade 95 Booked, and I love it. And this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel because it's free, so why wouldn't you? And I will see you guys next time. Bye!